Hello everybody, the Lizard Boy G here, and welcome back to another video. So, over the last week, the new Jurassic World movie, Jurassic World Rebirth, has finally came out. So, I went to my theater, I watched the movie, then I watched it again, and I fully collected all my thoughts and, like, stuff about it, like, all the stuff I want to talk about. So, um, this includes everything I loved about it, my rating, things I didn't like about it, my ranking. Remember the ranking video? Yeah, we're adding on to that. And um yeah, so let's get to it. So first we're gonna go over like a little like recap of the story, just in case any of y'all don't know it. So the film follows Zora Bennett, where she gets a job offer to hunt down three of the largest dinosaurs and create a medicine that can help provide life-saving benefits to humankind. From this guy named Martin Krebs, who works for this company called Parker Genetics Pharmaceutical Engineering. They also recruit Dr. Henry Loomis, who is the goats, but he's also the guy that knows like all about dinosaurs. He's basically like the Alan Grants of the trio, basically the team. Um, then we also get introduced to three more members, including Duncan, which is this super cool guy named Duncan Kinclad. Yeah, his last name this time. Bobby Atwater and Nina. There's no last name from what I know. Um, well, on their way to get the first dinosaur, the Mosasaurus, they also find a family that were attacked by the same Mosasaurus. Eventually, they crash land on the island and they split into two teams. I forgot the name of the island, but from what I've heard, it's called Site C. Um, so basically, they both go their separate ways, and they eventually make it to the research facility where the D-Rex broke out of and escaped. And the helicopter that they're supposed to get out of the island with? Yeah, the D-Rex snacks on it like it's a drumstick. That it was insane. And then yeah, eventually so they take the boat. Martin Krebs dies. Basically everybody dies, besides all the people with the backstory. And yeah, that's the story of the movie. So first, I decided that we're gonna go over everything I liked about the movie, or that I thought was like at least somewhat interesting. One thing I really liked about the movie was the comedy. Anytime the movie had a short comedy moment or something funny happen, it was actually funny this time. Such as when Loomis was eating the Altoids in the museum, or the peeing scene with Xavier. Another thing I thought that was there was barely any corny parts in the movie, like nothing like that made me like roll my eyes back. There was like one line the little girl said, but again, it's little girl, so I'm not expecting like S class acting from her. So another thing I thought was really good about the movie was the CGI. Now, the Jurassic franchise has never really had any bad CGI in their films. This time it was like even better. If you don't know, one way that CGI artists use to help hide spotty parts or just bad looking stuff is by having it take place in the nighttime. This is why most of the movies finales for like throughout the franchise mostly take place in like the afternoons or like night times. Because it's easy to hide the dinosaur parts, easy to hide the choppy animation, stuff like that. This is also one of the reasons that the film Godzilla 2014 was so dark. Not only to give that horrific feel, but also to, you know, get some CGI spotty parts. Because, if you're making a big kaiju movie, there's going to be some spotty parts in the animations, so it's just easy to have the movie take place at nighttime. Now, there's a lot more stuff I really like about the movie, but I think it'd just be easier to talk about the stuff I didn't like. Did I not like about the movie, or like what's something I didn't think really did well, like it didn't really work well. One of the main things I didn't like about the movie was the predictability of who was gonna die. Throughout the movie, the only characters that are given backstories or problems that need to be solved by the end of the runtime are the ones that actually survived. For example, Zora, we learned about her PTSD with her friend dying in her last mission, and just wanted to like get out and retire, which is like her whole point in doing this. Because if she wasn't getting paid over $10 million, she probably wouldn't have taken the job. Then for Duncan, he has a story about his wife splitting up with him, and his daughter getting lost in their marriage divorce thing, and eventually ending up with his wife. But eventually, the only characters who like have no sad backstory or any lore we learn about are the same ones who end up dying, and it kind of makes the kills more predictable. One thing I thought was interesting was that they made it look like Duncan was gonna die, but then he didn't die, so it kind of took away like like big feel that like, wow, in this new trilogy, people will die. No, no, it's like Duncan lives. That I didn't really like that he lived. Another thing I didn't like about this movie was the lack of screen time and the importance of the D-Rex. Like, okay, if you like take the D-Rex and cut it out of the movie and like switch it out with like a T-Rex or some Velociraptors, it would have no effect to the movie at all. Like if you just cut a final villain out of the movie and just had it be dinosaurs the whole time, the movie just wouldn't change. Like, well, besides Duncan having to sacrifice himself or wait for Krebs to die, like the movie is literally okay without the D-Rex. Like one of the main things it only does is that it affects the lore of the island. So, but if you just had like a storm take over, then yeah, we don't need a D-Rex. But yeah, I just feel like the lack of importance that the D-Rex held in the. I watched the movie twice, and I noticed like two like Easter eggs or just like little stuff that I thought was like really cool to incorporate. It's some of the only stuff I actually noticed. I didn't when I watched the movie probably for the third time. I'll probably like notice some more stuff. One is that like in the opening with Krebs and Zora when they're driving, a bus passes by in the background labeled Crichton High School. Something along the line that is like Crichton School or something. But anyway, if you don't know, Crichton is the last name of the author of the Jurassic Park book. So I thought that was pretty cool. The second thing is that in some dialogue, Dr. Henry Loomis says he worked under Alan Grant, which I thought was pretty cool. But I'm also pretty sure in the timeline, Alan Grant is dead. I think. I mean, I think it takes place 30 years after the last movie. I don't know. I can't remember. It was pretty spotty on where the movie takes place. I'm also pretty sure Loomis didn't exist when the first Jurassic Park did. So I don't know. We'll look more into it. Now it's time for my rating of the movie and my ranking. So for the film, I'm gonna rate it a 8 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I don't really understand why a lot of people hate it, but I really liked it. Like I had like such a fun time with this movie. It's probably one of my favorite experiences of watching a movie, and probably my favorite experience watching a Jurassic movie. Now for the ranking, if you don't remember, here it is on screen. This is what it looks like, and without the TV shows, I'm putting it behind Fallen Kingdom and in front of Camp Cretaceous season 3. Actually, here's the list. Here's like the like list I go under. That was in the ranking video from a couple months ago. So that basically puts it at number 4, which is pretty cool. It's in my top 5. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.